Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in and joining our conversation today. We are discussing the role that AI plays in dentistry. Now, we all know that the dental world is shifting, and practices are hustling to stay competitive and keep a full schedule while managing your daily front desk task. And a lot of times that can be with fewer hands on deck. So, the conversation lately, not just in dentistry, but within life, really has been AI. It is something that is penetrating, like I said, all walks of our lives. But how does that impact dentistry, your practice in particular? And today I have a special guest with me, Dave Kocher, who is our Chief Customer Officer, and he is going to talk about that with us today. How are you, Dave?
Doing well, thanks. Glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So just to set the stage, um, we're looking to have a real conversation about how dental practices who may be a little hesitant but are interested and know that AI is coming. It's kind of like that plane that will land. And so how do we navigate it? So today we're going to talk about how AI can be a benefit to you, how it turns your traditional open hours into 24/7 growth and productivity, ways that you can adapt to new technology while still keeping the warmth of your practice and the personalization of your practice. Um, we'll also talk about how AI can drive real revenue for your practice. And then we're going to wrap it all up with a quick call, and we're going to put our own AI receptionist to the test. So, how about we get right into it, Dave?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Awesome. Awesome. So, just looking at the landscape right now, we see a recent article published that we see 18% of practices actively integrating AI into their dental practice. But we also see another 66% who are considering the adoption, but they might be a bit hesitant. What do you think is causing that surge of interest right now? And for those who are still hesitant, what might be the misconceptions or the hurdles that they're kind of grappling with?
Yeah, AI is definitely experiencing its moment in the sun. It is definitely part of the international zeitgeist and the discussion topic at almost every business interaction you go to, but also family events. AI seems to come up. So I think that's part of what's driving the adoption. There's a lot of momentum around AI currently. And from my perspective, I'd say we are definitely in the center of a typical product adoption curve. And as described by Jeffrey Moore in Crossing the Chasm, he talks about early phase adopters that happen before the early majority. And so I would say that 18% of practices that are actively integrating are those early adopters, those that are getting in first to use it and have the desire to be that type of an early adopter, getting advantage where they can take it. And then the folks, the 66% are that majority that are looking back at all of the early adopters and going, how's it working? How are you using it? Is it actually delivering value or is it causing problems? And as soon as the signal comes out from those early adopters, we're going to see that the majority, that 66%, jump on board and take AI. If we think about what's really happening or why people are sitting in those two different camps, those folks that have moved fast are there because they want to remove friction that gets in the way of patient care. And AI is another tool that allows the front office staff to get freed up from the calls, the schedule changes, the insurance questions, those repetitive tasks that get in the way of actually having or forming real connections with the patients that are there in front of the front office team. And the dentists are trying to give their staff a way to do more with less and not have them burn out. And AI is a great way for those folks to do so. I'd say for the people that are sitting in the middle, the early majority of folks that are looking back, that 66%, some probably have a perspective that AI creates a cold patient experience, that it doesn't deliver on the relationship based nature of interactions that you would think of with your dentist. And I think we're going to talk through some of that, and we'll disprove some of that. And then I think others also probably look at it and go, this is really hard. I didn't get into dentistry to figure out how to be a CIO or an IT administrator. AI sounds complicated. I don't know how to do it. And I'm just going to stick with what I know and keep doing that same old thing. And I think we're also going to talk a little bit about how it isn't complicated, and that you don't have to be a CIO to be able to implement AI solutions in your practice and take advantage of it. And I think there are some people that just don't know what's possible yet. And I believe that through sessions like this, where they can hear about it or see a live demo and get a feel for what's really happening, a lot of those comms can be put to bed. So I'd say demand's rising. People are feeling pain around the operational execution, the amount of volume that comes in, and AI provides a real practical solution for solving some of those challenges.
Right. And you hit on something that I think is a very real factor, is just that almost like being adverse to change, almost what you're familiar with is it's not the best, but it's getting you by. And I always tell people it's like, getting that new fancy washer machine, where you have to take the time to actually learn it, and you have to, it can seem daunting, but then after a day or two of using it, you're like, oh yeah, it's a washing machine. It's super simple. So a lot of times when you have new technology, you can be a little bit, hesitant to try to take that on. But when we talk about AI, it's not just another regular tech tool, because really, one thing that you've mentioned before is the ability for it to bridge the gap between, what would help grow the practice and those daily tasks that kind of get in the way of it. So how is AI itself uniquely positioned to bridge that gap between, being able to grow, but also taking care of that day to day? What does that look like in the practice?
Yeah, I think I would focus this a bit on some of the opportunities or the gaps that traditional software presented. And we were talking about a system that was built around databases that capture inputs, data, and then are able to utilize them in different workflows. And then that data translated into ways to automate those workflows, so you could do 2 or 3 steps in a row, as long as it was very refined and specific set of actions. You could say, if this, then that, and you could complete an entire workflow if it was 100% defined and there were no decisions that needed to happen. Automation allowed practices, companies to do that sort of activity, but it breaks down when there has to be a decision made, and a human has to step in and click a button or run a report or return a call or whatever it might be that has to be influenced by a human in the middle of that automation. The automation falls down, and that's where AI really is able to do something quite different and solve some of these challenges, because it can decision and reason and take action and be able to close the loop. An example of that would be patient texting in the evening after hours. They want to reschedule. The AI doesn't follow a workflow and create a task. It actually interacts with the patient to solve a problem. And it does that based on the rules and the types of policies that have been set by the practice, but it's able to do that through the language model that's there, that allows it to have a natural conversation, even through different channels. Or when someone calls with a simple question, AI can answer that with exactly the right answer. It can reason through, what are they asking about, and how do I answer this question based on the inputs that I have? And that's unique to AI and goes beyond what automation would typically do. And so since this system is learning, it's continuing to adapt to take the practice's preferences, schedule rules, requirements around insurance, the type or style of communication that the practice wants to use. It adapts, and it doesn't stay as static the way software traditionally did, where you built it once, you configured it, the workflow ran until it couldn't do anymore. The AI brings in the ability for us to be more nimble and get around some of those historical challenges. And I think that's really the big breakthrough here.
Yeah, and I think, and what comes to mind is just the difference between a chat bot and an actual AI receptionist, being that it's intuitive, it can understand the need of the patient and really have that conversation with them. I think the key word here is the conversation, right?
I think that's exactly right. It is a back and forth, and that's the type of experiences we have and we expect to have with humans. And that is the experience that AI is able to replicate more naturally.
And so when we talk about that, what enables it to be able to do that? What's happening behind the scenes when, let's say, you decide that your practice is going to onboard an AI receptionist? What happens behind the scenes to be able to equip it to have those conversations?
Yeah, there's quite a lot that does happen behind the scenes that make this work, and it's pretty awesome, pretty powerful when it does. AI isn't just listening for keywords or following a rigid script or a set of if then this that processes like we did in automation. It's actually analyzing the intent behind the conversation, the words the patient is using. And there's really three big sources of data or information that is working from to guide that interaction. And the first one of those would be the PMS data. That's where practices store patient information, and it's able to help the AI navigate patient verification, which is a really, really important step, critical step around compliance and HIPAA. The second is around scheduling preferences, and some of that is stored in the schedule itself, but some of that's also in the configuration around the types of appointments that are able to be scheduled, the rules or restrictions that want to be placed around that for particular doctors or operatories or days and times. All of those are scheduling preferences that can be set that then are able to guide the AI down the path of this patient just asked for an appointment for a dental cleaning on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Do we have that to offer or not? And those preferences allow the AI to be able to determine that information. And then the final item is around the knowledge base that's provided that are really about practice specific details, those questions that are only relevant to an individual practice and need to be localized and specific to the practice. Maybe it's procedures, maybe it's office hours, maybe it's the way the holiday schedule is done. Maybe you have a schedule that is, we only work on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those things are items that can be put into the knowledge base and the model can be trained on and influence the way that they interact with the patients calling in.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because you're kind of touching on this already, because I know that one of the things that we hear when we are out talking about, AI and how it can really impact your practice is concerns around the accuracy, the safety or the compliance of the information, and what the AI receptionist, how much control it'll have over or impact it'll have on those things. And so all of that kind of plays into creating those guardrails, right?
It certainly is, and there's a lot that needs to go into creating appropriate guardrails, especially in healthcare and dentistry. And those have to come around accuracy, safety, compliance. And that's part of why it's really important for any practice considering an agentic solution that you make sure that as one of the first qualifying criteria for whatever vendor you choose, it was purpose built to work in healthcare, to work in dentistry, and be able to address some of the considerations around PHI and HIPAA. Otherwise, you could end up in a real mess if the agentic solution does not have that built in. And so if we talk about, excuse me, accuracy, we touched on a little bit, but that has to be based on the real practice data, schedule rules, preferences, insurance participation, treatment codes. All of that are details that are necessary for this to be accurate, and they have to be pulled out of systems like a PMS. And so if the vendor isn't able to pull that information directly from the PMS, you end up with inaccurate information being presented. Safety definitely is another one, and you want them to be trained to stay within designated workflows and not step outside of those boundaries. I think a good example of this is emergency situations. So if a patient calls in and their daughter has fallen off of her scooter and now is missing a tooth and is bleeding profusely. This isn't a place where you want AI to lean into the conversation and try and troubleshoot the issue. This is where you need to make sure that AI is pushing the patient in the appropriate direction, which is to emergency services, not to getting feedback on how to solve for a bloody tooth. And the third one around compliance, I mentioned HIPAA before. It is central to so much that we do around compliance in healthcare and dentistry. And the encryption of the data, the ability to prevent exposure of PHI, the traceability, logging, auditability of the information so that there is a lower risk profile, all of those are critical elements. So in short, AI is an amazing tool, but if it's just a generalized AI that doesn't take into account accuracy, safety, and compliance, it isn't going to be the right solution for a dental practice.
Right. And vendor selection, due diligence, people, that's where that comes in, making sure that the vendor you select has those guardrails and those capabilities in place. So now, Dave, I want to switch gears a little bit because we're talking about a lot of patient interaction. We're talking about a lot of problem solving. Over time, anytime we talk about technology and data, over time, what are we going to be able to glean from this? Are we going to be able to look down the road and say, okay, months from now, a year from now, will a practice be able to see patterns and be able to make decisions off of those certain insights that they'll be able to take away from AI?
Yes, absolutely. And this is going to continue to evolve over time and grow over time, where you get the unlock of pattern recognition and visibility into patterns. And today, if you think about a practice that has 2 or 3 people working in the front office, you would have to download the conversations that each of those individuals is having, put it into some sort of a system to mine and manipulate the information to turn it into the pattern recognition that's going to come from the fact that we have the calls being recorded, the ability to understand what's happening in those conversations, to get a sense of what intent signals patients are giving in conversations and how we use those to overcome common barriers to scheduling, or how insurance information or missing information around insurance becomes a barrier for the practice. Those things are going to show up in different ways than people probably previously understood them to be, and that comes from the data that's coming through. Or the ability to get the messaging around the patient interacting in a particular way each and every time. I know that if I answer the phone and you answer the phone and a third person answer the phone, we're going to do that differently, which creates authenticity, but it also creates inconsistency in how you might want to have that call handled. And each and every person may do it differently, which can lead to different scheduling rates, confirmation rates, different rates of patient information collection, all of which becomes consistent and managed in AI. And we can see that information and understand how we want to tune the conversation so that we can do better in the future versus worse.
Right, right. So, with all of this that we're talking about, with the ability to have these two-way conversations, to be intuitive, to understand the patient need, also being able to give these insights later on so that we can take the appropriate actions. I think the million-dollar question around AI is it here to take our jobs? Should an office manager be worried that an AI receptionist is going to take her job or his job?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I think AI isn't here to take jobs. I think it's here to become a teammate, to take work off people's plates, to enhance what humans can do when interacting with other humans, and remove a lot of the repetitive, consistent tasks that get heaped on humans and allow them to do the things that are uniquely human in nature. So that's where I think this is going to become a differentiator for practice. It's a force multiplier for the people that are already in the practice. It isn't there to get rid of people. It's there to allow them to do something more specific in their job. And my perspective on that would be around interacting in a human way, in a warm way with the patients that are there at the practice visiting. I imagine I'm not the only one who's had the experience of walking in to my appointment, and I go up to the reception desk and they've got an email going and they've got a call that comes in the middle of it, and I'm just waiting to be checked in, and they're saying, hold on, I've got all of this, and they're juggling all of those balls in front of you, when I'm sure that's not the experience that they want to be giving. It's not the experience that the doctor or that practice owner wants them to be giving, but it's what the reality is in so many cases because our folks are overwhelmed. And AI is able to take some of those tasks away and allow that person at the front desk to create that warm, inviting experience with the patient that's standing there right in front of them, which is a really, really compelling opportunity.
Awesome. And so on that same beat, what does the relationship between the office and the AI receptionist look like now and in future state? How are they working together?
Yeah, I think you've got the AI taking over the routine tasks, the things that feel administrative in nature, the things that feel burdensome to a human or rote, and not fully using the human's capability. It takes those tasks away and gives the human back the time to focus on the things that they can be doing even more of or even better.
Awesome. Awesome. So we do have an AI receptionist that we want to call live on this call. But before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about the RevenueWell AI receptionist?
Certainly happy to do so. The RevenueWell's AI Receptionist is, as I mentioned before, it's that digital front desk teammate. Handles those repetitive coordination activities, the things that can overwhelm your team and take them away from the activities that are human facing, such as scheduling, rescheduling, answering general questions, collecting missing patient information, making sure that the insurance details are available so that claims run through smoothly. And then making sure that a lot of the complex items get shifted to the right place, which is to the front office staff or the humans that are there. We're delivering AI through 3 different channels. So it works via voice, it works in web chat, and in text to support those core areas around scheduling, general FAQ responses, answering questions, and collection of missing patient information. And I think probably a really good time, rather than have me talk about it, to see it live and in action. What do you think?
Awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it. I am going to call her up. So let's go. Here we go.
Hello there. This is Cora from Dr. Bard's office. How can I help you today?
Hi, I am looking to schedule an appointment.
I'd be happy to help you schedule an appointment. Are you looking to schedule for yourself or for a family member?
For myself.
Great. Are you an existing patient with our office? Or would this be your first visit with Dr. Bard?
I'm an existing patient.
Wonderful. What type of appointment are you looking to schedule today? We offer dental cleaning appointments, which are 1 hour long, or dental filling appointments, which are 2 hours long.
I am looking for a cleaning appointment.
Perfect. I'd be happy to schedule a dental cleaning appointment for you. Since you're an existing patient, I'll need to verify some information first. May I have the phone number associated with your account?
415-555-1212.
Thank you. And your zip code on record?
95403.
Thank you. What is your date of birth?
November 10th, 1999.
Thank you for providing that information. I've successfully verified your identity. Now let's schedule your dental cleaning appointment. Do you have a preferred date and time for your appointment in the coming weeks?
Could you give me availability for next week in the afternoons?
I'd be happy to check the availability for next week in the afternoon for your dental cleaning appointment. We have the following options available. Tuesday at 2 p.m. with Dr. Bard, Thursday at 3:30 p.m. with Dr. Bard. Both appointments would be for a 1-hour dental cleaning. Do either of these times work for you?
I think the Thursday appointment works.
Great choice. Let me confirm the details with you. You'll have a 1-hour dental cleaning appointment with Dr. Bard next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Our office is located at 3785 Brickway Boulevard, Windsor, California. Just a reminder about our cancellation policy. There is a fee for missed appointments or cancellations within 24 hours of your scheduled time. Does this appointment time and date work for you?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. I've booked your dental cleaning appointment with Dr. Bard for next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. The appointment will last approximately 1 hour. When you arrive at our office at 3785 Brickway Boulevard in Windsor, please bring your ID and insurance card. If you need to reschedule or cancel, please give us at least 24 hours notice to avoid any cancellation fees. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Thank you for that information. One quick question. I will be driving there. What does the parking situation look like?
You're welcome. Regarding parking, we have plenty of available spaces. There's parking in the front of our Dental Care of Windsor location and on both sides of the building as well. You shouldn't have any trouble finding a spot when you arrive for your appointment next Thursday. Is there anything else you'd like to know about your visit?
That'll be it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help you schedule your dental cleaning appointment for next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. with Dr. Bard. Thank you for choosing Dental Care of Windsor. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for calling.
Wow. Wow, I am impressed. I am impressed. So there was a
The
lot
proof
that
is there right in front of us, right, Demetria? I mean, we could have skipped the first part and just gone to the demo, I think.
it definitely it was like you said, the two-way conversation, the intuitiveness. It did not sound robotic. It did not sound like a chat bot. It had a conversation with me.
Had a conversation, and it was warm and engaging. Very different than anybody who called their bank in the early 2000s and went through that robotic IVR. It is not that. And I think sometimes we were talking about this earlier. I think that's what people think of. It's going to be this really horrible interaction, and it's no longer that. We get something that is really warm and impactful.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, that was very impressive. So as we wrap up, I just want to, what does this mean for the bottom line of the practice? Because here we are, again, AI being able to even turn, this conversation can happen at any time of day, on the weekends, after hours, during holidays. So it really takes your practice from having those traditional open hours to 24/7 possibilities and growth capabilities. So what does that mean from an ROI perspective, the bottom line for the practice?
Yeah, I think this is really allowing people to free up their teams that have been tied up in high volume work during the work hours and allow them to put their efforts to other items inside of the practice that maybe didn't get done or didn't get done well because they were into the schedule, reschedule, answer questions, pick up the phone, have this conversation, all of that happens all of the time. And as you mentioned, it's not just during office hours, it's also after hours. So you're able to schedule appointments when no one is there, even working in the office, which expands your revenue opportunity. So I think two big ways we think about the ROI on this is time savings from the staff being freed up to do other work, and then also the revenue impact of increasing the opportunity to schedule more appointments, to talk to more patients, to not miss opportunities to schedule those appointments. And so we're seeing practices cut their human managed call volumes by 30% and more. The response times don't have people that are sitting on hold or ringing. It can go straight to somebody that answers every single call, multiple calls at the same time. So you don't have somebody that has to go to hold or go to voicemail. And then if we talk about the revenue impact, it's possible to have practices generate $140 or more thousand of incremental revenue per year through AI booked appointments, because you're not missing those opportunities to get the appointment scheduled, to get it on the books and confirm the patient is coming in. So it's very real. AI is here now. It's available now. It's compliant, accurate, and capable now. It's warm and interactive now, and these are real wins that practices can take advantage of.
Awesome. Awesome. This was a great conversation, Dave. I really appreciate you breaking all of this down for us. And I have to say, it's exciting. It's an exciting new technology tool that is really available to practices today. Practices are seeing the impact of it. So if you're a part of that 66% that's just kind of on the sidelines trying to see how things are going to play out, I say get in, because as you just heard for yourself, this really is a growth tool. It truly is. And thank you again for being a part of this conversation. If you are listening and you want to test out an AI receptionist for yourself and see if it's right for your practice, we encourage you to go to our website at RevenueWell.com and go to the AI reception tab and schedule a quick call with one of our experts. Thank you again, Dave. I appreciate your insights.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Bye now.
Thank you, everybody.